I am Rob McDonough. I play the bass.
My name is Aaron Watkins, and I am the lead singer.
My name is Patrick Madsen, and I'm the drummer.
I am Michael LeBross, and I play the guitar.
So Random Hero started years ago, and it's kind of morphed and evolved into what it is today, literally by the grace of God. And without his sort of guiding hand in all of this, none of us would be here doing this. None of us would have the support team and our wives and our families behind us doing this. And so it started out years ago, and I started singing. And then as members changed and whatnot, we found Rob first. When our bass player back then decided he was going to go a different path, and then we found Patrick, and then recently we found Micah on the side of the road. He had a sign that said, "We'll play guitar for food," and we said, "Man, he looks like a cool guy, so we want to invite him on." So we did.
Still haven't fed him.
Yeah, we haven't fed him, but
Plays guitar.
plays a heck of a guitar. So, but yeah, it was really just all by divine intervention. Just all of us coming together. I mean, three guys that have different viewpoints and different thoughts and ideals and stuff, and you put them in a van for days and hours and months sometimes together. I mean, you'd think that things would get a little scary, but man, we get it. We know where everybody's at and respect each other and just keep pushing forward. Our new record, Tension, is our Rockfest Records debut, and it's actually a pretty funny story how we got involved with Rockfest Records. We met Joe years ago, but he was doing a Facebook Live, and so I was messaging him like, "Hey man, we're in Nashville," and he was like, "Cool, let's do a barbecue." And we were sort of like, usually when people say let's do a barbecue, they flake out and things happen. And then he's like messaged, and he's like, "Here's my number, let's do this." And so we went over there, and this is where I'm gonna hand the mic over to the handsome and charming Mr. Patrick Madsen to finish off this story.
So we go over there for a barbecue. We don't know what to expect. We're showing up and we're like, man, he's like for real, because we're used to getting kind of ghosted as far as people like, hey, let's go to a barbecue, and it kind of just falls through. This one didn't. And so we go over to Joe's house, and we're having food, and we're getting to know him, and the conversation's just flowing. And so it's like we've known this guy for forever immediately off of our introduction. And so we get into the house and we start eating, and everything's going good, and then the sun starts to go down a little bit, and all of a sudden, I forget who it was, somebody found an acoustic guitar. I believe it was his son Blaze. He brings out an acoustic guitar, and that just kind of set the whole night off. So me and Joe just traded songs, literally not even kidding, from about 8 p.m. to about 7 a.m. the next day. We were just having a ball and just going at it. And it was just like, I don't know what it was. For us, it was just like, man, we rarely get to do this. And so we were just sharing some cool camaraderie. Anyway, all that happened. We just had this amazing night. He ended up coming to the show that we had in Knoxville the next day and ended up rerouting his tour just to come. And we're like, man, this guy's super cool. Like, he really likes us and stuff. And then from there, we just developed this really awesome friendship as a whole with him. And then flash forward to present day, and he's our label owner, and we're under his record label. And I mean, it's been amazing just to see the growth in it. But I mean, that's literally how it got started, was one barbecue, couple acoustic songs, couple hundred maybe. And then a couple thousand. Yeah. And then it turned into a record deal, and thus we have Tension. So
It came really organically. It really did. We had a lot of stuff happen the last couple of years, and in all that was a lot of tension. No pun intended, but there really was. And came to Nashville to do co-writes with Kellen McGregor and from Memphis Mayfire, and Josiah Prince from Disciple, and just every day we were co-writing, we banged out a whole song, which was insane. And I mean, it was just incredible.
So as we came up and did co-writes, the idea for this record was we had little snippets, little kind of thoughts and ideas. So nothing was really like set in stone. We didn't have full songs, and the three of us, we didn't want to come into the studio with fully done songs, because a lot of times people get married to things, and we didn't want that to happen. We just wanted to go in and listen for whatever the sound was that we were supposed to write. And so we did, and the idea was that we were going to come up and write, some hooks and some melodies and some lyrics, and kind of put the puzzle together and piece it together that way. And man, it was the craziest, most amazing thing to watch this work the way that it did, and how God worked specifically with the three of us, and Kellen and Josiah, and just these songs just came about. I think we wrote this record in 14 days total, which sometimes it takes years for people to write records. And so it took us 14 days, and we had 2 extra songs, and we let our friends in Seventh Day Slumber use those 2 songs on the new record. And so things couldn't have been better. And so we really came from a place of honesty with it. And we're not really that band that wants to water anything down. We've never been that band, and we never will be. And that's just who we are. And so when we came out with this, it was good to have both Josiah, who's very prominent in the Christian market, and then Kellen, who's very prominent in the secular market, and to hear how their views and ideas, even though they're on the same page, but with each separate industry, how they can mix and mesh them to make them so that it's not putting you in a box to be one thing or another, but to open up the highway so that you can be everything rather than just one thing. And so that's what we really wanted to do, and I feel like we really pulled that off.
Kind of to piggyback off of what Rob was saying, was the organic nature around this record is I think the thing that stands out the most. I mean, with two essential co-writers that were with us, Josiah, Prince, and Kellen, and then one ultimate producer, all the ideas that would bounce off were just completely organic in that nature. So I think the longest periods of not having any progress were just us taking lunch to go brainstorm new ideas. Hey, we have an idea, but could it be better? Let's take lunch and figure it out, type stuff. And I think that's just an organic way to go about it. Sorry. And I think that is a testament to every song and its diversity. And also what keeps the record non-boring is that every section has its own characteristic. So, and I think that's summed up just by the word organic. So
I wasn't involved with the process as well, but I know both of those guys that they co-writ with, and I knew that whatever they were going to do was going to be really organic, and also that with them mainly being themselves writing this record, and not so much the other guitar player who was in at the time, I knew that they would have a lot more freedom to expand on ideas and try new horizons that maybe they hadn't done before. So I had really high hopes when they were writing this record of it was going to take them to new places that they never thought were imaginable, in their eyes.